Hello everyone, my name is Ankit Verma. Today we are learning K-means clustering algorithm. It is unsupervised learning algorithm, which means here is unlabeled data, no trainer, and output is not known. Here in the diagram we have given with the data which is unlabeled, which means objects are given but we don't know what they are. Also, there is no trainer. That means nobody is available to guide us. And we have no information of the output. So these are the characteristics of unsupervised learning. K-means clustering groups similar data to form clusters. In the diagram we can see that the similar type of objects are grouped together and they form a cluster. There are two groups or clusters. In K-means clustering, K represent number of clusters. Here in the diagram we have two clusters, which means the value of K is 2. K-means clustering is centroid based algorithm, which means every cluster contains a centroid. And this centroid is the main value of the data members inside the cluster. So here the name signify K means number of clusters, which are 2, means there is a centroid which are from the mean value of data elements inside the cluster, and clustering, which means it create the clusters. So this is K-means clustering algorithm. Now we are going to learn the working of K-means clustering algorithm. Here in the diagram, we have data points where label is not given. So this is unlabeled data. Here we don't have the information of output. So algorithm will try to combine them, group them in the form of cluster. We are going to apply K-means clustering on this unlabeled data. We are assuming that K is equal to 2, which means 2 clusters. So K-mean algorithm will form 2 clusters. In the working of K-means clustering algorithm, the first step is randomly select K points called centroids. Here the value of K is 2. That means we need to randomly select 2 points. So these are the 2 points. Their name is M1 and M2. These points are called centroids. Centroid are the mean of the value of data members. That's why the name given is M1 and M2, which is mean 1 and mean 2. Next is assign data points to closest centroid. For finding the closest centroid, we use Euclidean distance. Now we are picking each data member one by one and finding their Euclidean distance with both centroids. Let's say this data member, here this distance is small. So this data point is closest to M1 centroid. In the similar way, this data point distance with both centroid, it is closest to M1. This data point distance with M1 and M2, it is closest to M2. Next data point is near to M1. 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 Next data point is near to M2. Next data point is near to M2. So the distance of each data point is calculated with both the centroid. The lesser the distance, it is belonging to that centroid. And these are going to form the clusters. Centroid M1 with its data points is making cluster 1. And centroid M2 with its data point is making cluster 2. These are the two clusters which are created. These are not the final clusters because these centroids are randomly selected. Next is calculate mean of data points in each cluster and update centroids. In cluster 1, the data points average value is calculated and this is the new centroid. Similarly, in cluster 2, the average of data points is calculated and this is the new centroid of cluster 2. In the next step, we have to repeat the process. Again, we have to assign data points closest to the new centroid using Euclidean distance. Just like this data point, Euclidean distance with M1 centroid and M2 centroid. This data point is closest to M2. Here the important thing to observe that this data point is changing its cluster. In the same way, the distance of each data point with both centroid are calculated. After calculating the Euclidean distance, we have observed that these points are near to M1 and these points are near to M2. So there is a time to create the new clusters. The clusters are updated. Again, we have to calculate the mean of these data points. Again, the centroid will be updated and this process will keep on going. So repeat the process until centroids stop changing, forming clusters. So if we are repeating the process and we have observed that the cluster members are not changing, then we will stop the k-means clustering algorithm. So using the k-means clustering algorithm, we have created 2 clusters. So that's all for today. Thank you.